batteries are while I'm up.
I'm good.
Good. Mine says they're good. But it's early.
7 straight up.
When we get arguing, don't you pick my stick up and start hitting me with it.
Okay.
Okay, we can call the meeting to order. Thank you all for coming. Let us start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We have an agenda.
We need a roll call first.
Yes, we do. Trying to think how I can take a hatchet to this thing, but please do a roll call there, Mr. Burns.
Supervisor Bertrand.
I am here.
Treasurer Hobbs.
Here.
Clerk Pern here. Trustee Monet.
Here.
Trustee Detmer.
Here. Okay, all accounted for. So we have slated to talk to the candidates for the full-time fire position starting at 7:30, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, but they are both here. I don't see any reason that you would have to sit through all of our consent agenda and board reports. Are you two willing to finalize the interview and the selection right away? Okay. I'm going to make a motion that the board approve moving number 1 on the agenda as the first item of business for this meeting and proceed with the final interviews and selection of our new full-time fire chief. Do I have a second?
No second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, I'll end the discussion. So all those in favor of that motion as stated signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. The motion carries 5-0. Okay, Mr. Pern, am I correct that Mr. Fay was slated to be first?
That's correct.
And you are present. We would like to give you 2 minutes if you have any additional comments and any brief, and I do mean brief questions from the board. So if you'd like to come up, Steve, and take a couple minutes to give us your best description as to why this should be your job.
Is there any reason for Matt to leave? No?
No, not at this point.
Okay. I didn't think so.
All right.
So
I'm
is your, yeah, you're
Yep,
green,
that's on.
you should be good, and you're
I turned it on.
close. Yeah,
Yep.
you're good.
All right, so the first thing I'd like to say is been thinking about this a lot. And a couple of things that come to mind as top priorities. One is the safety of the fire department, the residents of Lyon Township, and the visitors that come through here. Second, most important thing is there's a lot of things that got to get sorted out at the fire department. So our intent is to get those prioritized and start executing on them and not let great get in the way of good. Like, there's a lot of things that need some attention and we need to get after that. And then the third thing on my mind is to reach out to the surrounding departments and community folks and, you know, get to know them and where we're doing okay, where we can do better, where we can help them, and where we can work together to support each other. You know, a lot of the departments around here are smaller and we need to take care of each other and take care of Lyon Township. So that's all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't. I think you're both strong candidates, and the questions I had, I got out there the first time around. Any other board members have any additional questions at this time?
I do. Hey, Steve. So, because this is not my wheelhouse, I
Sure.
own it. I've done a lot of research in the last week to understand certifications, qualifications, otherwise. I've talked to the state, I've talked to other people, I've talked to their fire departments. So, just so I can clear it up in my head, just because, and I do better if I just ask questions, and I didn't see it all on the resume for sure. So I have some questions about certifications based on prior Chief Cleave's recommendation of what a fire chief should have. So I'm assuming you have firefighter training 1 and 2.
Correct.
Okay. Any officer 1, 2, or 3?
No,
Okay. Instructor 1?
no,
Okay. Any EMS, MFR, or any of that?
MFR.
MFR, okay. That's all I have. I just need to clarify for myself what all that means.
There is, I think it's 4 or 5 classes and
Yeah.
willing and ready to.
And from what I understand too, by state guidelines, administrative code, or whatever, once you finish firefighter 2, you have 36 months to finish up training to get these other,
That's correct.
okay, thank you.
I believe one of them is 12 months, the others are
Yeah.
within
Yeah,
36.
cool, thank you.
Why didn't you put a resume in? Okay, if there's no other questions from the board, thanks,
Thank you.
Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
And Matt was slated to be second, right? Okay, Matt.
I'm last, so I'll take second.
Yeah, second will work.
So I devised a letter here, so I'll just read the letter off instead of just making remarks, and then we'll go from there. So it says, "Dear board members and residents of Lyon Township, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude for being considered for the fire chief position at Lyon Township Fire Department. As a firefighter and EMT and fire officer for 25 plus years, I know the importance of what having an effective and efficient fire and EMS service means to a community. I'm very proud to have been part of building Richfield Fire and EMS into what it is today, and would welcome the opportunity and challenge to do the same for Lyon Township. Lyon Township deserves to have a fire and EMS service they can count on and be proud of. Although I am not currently a member of Lyon Township Fire Department and I cannot speak precisely to the strengths and weaknesses of the department, I have had conversations with other Lyon Township residents and department members and have a good understanding of some of the issues that need to be looked into. If hired as fire chief, I can assure you that I will look at all issues both within the department as well as within the community and use my experience and education to attempt to resolve said issues and build a great working relationship within the department, the community, and local government members. Some of the issues I have heard about are inadequate response times, inability to respond to calls, low department membership, and lack of community involvement. I have ideas and proven methods to help in all those areas. Given the opportunity, I would implement these ideas to keep the department moving forward and to help maintain its existence into the future. I perform best when using all my resources. I welcome ideas and input from all avenues, whether that be within the department, from the community, or former department members. I believe an effective fire chief is approachable and understands that they do not know everything, and they welcome assistance and criticism from peers and community members. As fire chief, I would work with surrounding departments to ensure a professionally strong working environment exists to help maintain safety and protection for all communities involved. I especially would look forward to working with Garris Township Fire and EMS. As the two townships that border Higgins Lake, it is very important that we work together and show our unity by helping to protect and maintain safety both on and off the water. As important as it is to have trust with local residents, it is equally important that visitors know that they can count on our local departments to assist them when needed. Trust with visitors will help ensure their return to the area to help boost tourism and local economy. Again, thank you for the consideration for the fire chief position. I believe that with my education, experience, and leadership skills, I would be an asset to the department and the community. I promise to work for the community to ensure that the fire and EMS service becomes and remain a highly effective and efficient department that Lyon Township deserves.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
As I stated, I don't have any additional questions. I don't know if anybody on the board does.
I do. Same questions, even though it's on the resume, I just want to put it out there. As far as certifications, I'm assuming firefighter 1 and 2,
Correct?
officer 1, 2, and/or 3,
All of them?
instructor 1.
Now, that one I do not have the certificate for. However, I talked to the Richfield chief, and he
Yeah.
says we took that class, so there's a
Okay.
good potential that I do have
And
that.
then anything MFR, EMS.
EMT for 25
EMT.
years, yep.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Anything else from the board? Okay, hearing nothing from the board, that concludes the final interview process. And I want to thank both of you guys for their service and their dedication to the communities at large, no matter where it was. This is a tough decision, both strong candidates, but that is exactly what the board is elected to do on behalf of the residents. Mr. Pern, could you do a roll call vote of which candidate will be each board member's final selection as our new Lyon Township full-time fire chief?
I object. Wholeheartedly object. Procedurally, we are supposed to vote on each individual candidate per state statute, and the last one standing with the most number of votes is elected, and we need to open this for discussion. That's the rules.
Thank you for that. I don't particularly care if we name a person and vote. You're drawing out no votes that we may not need to get into, but that's
Well,
fine with
we are
me.
allowed to have a discussion. That's the rules of engagement.
Sure. Are you sure there isn't anything you would have said in the comments for the board members? What would you bring up in the discussion?
Nope, this is directly related to this procedure.
Okay, I don't have a problem with doing it that way. In that case, I can make a motion that we do a roll call vote on Matt Z, and I'm not even going to try your last name,
Zabreska.
as the,
Yeah, close.
as the selection from the Lyon Township Board for the full-time Lyon Township Fire Chief position. So do we have a second on that motion?
Okay, yeah, I'll second so I can get an understanding of what exactly we're talking
Okay, so
about.
second by Pern. So any discussion, additional discussion then from the board?
Absolutely. So I've done a lot of research in the last week, and I've talked to the MTA numerous times about this, and I have a problem with hiring what we would consider to be a full-time fire chief at this meeting for many reasons. Most notably, there's no negotiated contract, there's no negotiated hours, there's no negotiated salary, there's no negotiated benefits package, there's no negotiated anything. And the problem we run into when we do something like this, as was stated to me by even my legal resources, is when you leave it open like this, there's a lot of legal problems that could come into play. Is this an at-will employee? Is this a contractual employee? What is this? None of this has been defined. And until we as a board put on the table, because we have to pass and hire a fire chief by resolution with their pay included, I think it would be very prudent and wise of us to hold off until such a time that this is negotiated. Because we also run into a problem that we hire someone tonight, and I don't have a problem if everything was done correctly, and then that candidate cannot negotiate a fair salary or otherwise. And Lyon Township doesn't need a full-time fire chief. We need a 30-hour per hour, and that is full-time, but maybe we don't need 40 plus. None of that's been negotiated or brought to the board, and I find that really, really offensive. And what happens if it can't be done? Then we go to the second candidate and go with the choice backed out because they didn't like the contract. Well, you're going to go to the second one now, and they're like, it was your second choice. I'm not in it. So now we have no fire chief again. So until these things are worked out and negotiated, I just think, and even all the legal research I've done is just that it just really, really causes a bunch of legal problems when you don't put these things on the table. So I am definitely for tabling this evening until such a time that both candidates have a time chance and a time to discuss with the board, supervisor or otherwise, at a negotiated contract that makes sense for all. And by the way, I have a problem too, that we placed an ad, as approved by this board, even if I didn't vote for it, for a full-time fire chief, based on some discrepancies with the former fire chief's certifications that he had 3.5 years to obtain. I still don't know what the former fire chief was lacking. And if we put somebody in a position tonight without doing our due diligence, and if someone doesn't have a certain certification that we deem necessary, is put forth by this board in qualifications, put forth by former Chief Cleaves as their qualifications, we are no better off than what happened with the last person. We are still sitting here with someone that doesn't have certain certifications, and I find that disingenuous and disrespectful to the process.
Thank you, sir. I have
Thank you.
consulted with the attorney, and he has assured us that we can do the selection first and work out the details
We
later.
certainly can, but
And I understand what you're saying.
So my comment would be, let's go ahead with the vote.
Well,
Well,
that's what the discussion is for, and then we'll
That's my
pursue it.
part of the discussion.
I do want to make something clear. When we talked to all 4 candidates last week, there's 2 of them, for some reason, did not come, and they could not make their appointments. Each one of the candidates, each one of the 4, said they would work with us for hours, wages, benefits, health package, all that. They were all willing to do. All 4 of them were. So this has been discussed. We just haven't talked the exact numbers. We talked the
Exactly.
minimum numbers.
yeah. And in legal terms, as I learned many, many years ago with all my legal cases and things I've been involved with, if it ain't in writing, it doesn't exist.
Okay, well, you've had your say, I've had mine.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other comments from the board members? Or any other discussion, excuse me? Okay, hearing none. For the motion as stated that the Lyon Township Board select Matt Z. as the new Lyon Township full-time fire chief, could we have that roll call, please, Clerk Hearn?
Now, how do you want these people to vote? If they
We are voting on whether, this is what he would prefer, is that we vote on a single candidate. So similar to a,
Well, we have to. It's
So
the
if
law.
that particular person doesn't care to say anything, he's not voting for Matt, is that what we're saying?
No. By state law, I checked with MTA. Every
I
board
don't care
sitting
about the
board.
state law.
I care because,
I'm talking to you.
yeah,
okay,
every
all it
city.
is a motion.
Right. Every sitting board member must vote legally. If they abstain, they're not allowed to. If they say nothing, it is taken as state law as being a yes.
Okay, and those are everybody's choices.
Yep.
It's a motion on the table that I'm asking you
Okay.
to do a roll call for.
So they want
and
yes or
instead of-
no? Okay, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
this is for that candidate, a yes or a no.
Okay, got it. All right, Treasurer House,
No.
Trustee Monet,
No.
Clerk Pern, no. Trustee Detmer,
No,
Supervisor Bertrand.
Yes. Okay, that fails at a vote of 1-4. Okay, then the next motion would follow. I would make a motion that we vote to approve Mr. Fay as, or the board to approve Mr. Fay as the next full-time fire chief for Lyon Township.
I second.
Okay. So hearing the second, is there any additional discussion then from the board on that? Okay, hearing none. Could we have a roll call vote on that, Clerk Pern, for Mr. Fay to be the new full-time fire chief in Lyon Township?
Sure. Trustee Monet,
No.
Trustee Detmer,
Yes,
Supervisor Bertrand.
We need, yes.
Treasurer House,
Yes.
Clerk Pern, yes.
Okay, that motion carries 4-1. So congratulations, Mr. Fay. I'm going to make one more motion right now, if the board would allow. I'm going to make a motion that two of our township board members, Mr. Kern as clerk and Mr. Hops as treasurer, work with Mr. Fay to negotiate a wage and benefit package going forward. Therefore, no open meeting acts would be violated, and then they can present what they come up with to the board for final approval. Do we have a second for that?
I second.
Okay, having a second. Is there any other discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none. In this case, I'd ask for a roll call because there is money involved in the back end of it.
Certainly will be, okay. Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Treasurer Hupp,
Yes.
Trustee Monet,
No.
Clerk Parent, yes. Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes. Okay, so that motion carries 4-1. So that concludes the process. Again, I thank you both for being here and for putting your time and effort in. As far as the agenda, we would then move on to the next thing in the agenda. Or I'm sorry, before we get to the agenda, to do board reports and questions from the public. So as far as the board reports, as supervisor, I don't really have a report. The agendas are always what I'm currently doing. There's a lot going on with Parks and Rec and grants and the summer. And the concert, the first concert of the series is this Saturday. I haven't been working as much, a couple health issues, but still plugging along. If anybody's got any questions for me, go ahead and let them fly. Yes, sir, Ron?
Who do we have for your IT? We want to get these PCs backed up, and I need to contact them.
Kodiak and Grayling.
Kodiak?
Kodiak, when you go from Grayling 72 west, you go by that big bear,
Yeah.
they have a company.
Call them?
You can call them, you can call here and get the number if you'd like, yeah. This is for the fire department backup, right? Yeah. Anything else? Okay. We'll move on to the treasurer report.
And maintenance. I included that in there.
All right.
Pretty clear cut, just attended another meeting last month, and after that one, I decided it was time to replace one of their board members, if not both of them, so I was nominated to take a seat on that board, which will start July 1st. It just got under my skin after a while, listening to the way the residents and their customers were talked to, so that's the reason for the change. And summer tax bills are going out tomorrow, if not Monday. And for maintenance, continuing to move these compost piles, which I'll bring up shortly with regards to that Joshua Snyder. We have to get this done before fall, otherwise we will not have room in that compost pile to accept new material. So that is a priority. And then we're also going to start, we're going to do all the painting for the Parks and Rec that they require on the playground, the pavilion. We've done our bi-weekly inspections taking place at each park. We're installing the ADA swing. next week at Samoset. The wood chips next week as well at Park 27, the ADA. And then just one other thing that we're gonna hopefully do, we're gonna hang and mount that fish in July.
I do have some news on that.
Okay, good. Get that thing done with.
Well, yeah. As an addition to that, I talked with a contractor yesterday. We went and looked at it, and he was gonna get a hold of Ron Wiltsey, who was the person who built it. And, make sure that the front half in the design knows what the back half and putting it in the ground, that they're on the same page. Thing's big. That's about all I can say. So we're moving along on that.
Good. Sooner we get it up, the better.
Okay, anybody got any questions for the treasurer? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on to the trustees. Trustee Detmer, what do you got for us today?
I really don't have anything to report this time.
Okay, has anybody got any questions for Trustee Detmer? I don't see any, we'll move on. Trustee Monet, what you got? Did I skip the clerk?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
you don't care.
I ran a line out so close to you. I went to the eye doctor yesterday, so maybe it'll get better.
You need to go again.
Yeah, I need to go back. So, before Trustee Monet, how about our Clerk Byrne? What do you got?
Okay, well, we mailed out many new voters registration cards in this last week. We had a dozen people call or stop in to check their addresses because the ballots that were sent to them did not reach them and were returned. Now, they finally have admitted, yes, you told us they weren't going to forward the mail if it was election material, but you didn't give us a new address. So anyways, they were just checking to make sure we had the right address for the August election that's coming up. We're preparing for the August primary with the county clerk and other townships regarding early voting. Updated qualified voter files every week. We helped arrange interviews and paperwork for all 6, actually 8. 2 were received late. Fire chief applications and candidates. Several meetings were held with Captain Greg Llewellyn as to procedures, expectations for the future, and current issues. Meeting with Treasurer Hops and Deputy Clerk Courtney and Captain Llewellyn to straighten out payroll misconceptions and pay stub issues. They're all absolutely taken care of so far. Many other daily activities, postings, minutes, newspaper articles, etc. Still trying to answer all the mail and phone calls in a timely manner, and the redirection of calls takes place daily to the treasurer or supervisor or our inspectors or the sexton, and most of this was done with a smile. Not all. That's the end of my report. Question?
No, I was gonna ask if you'd like, go up and get in that cabinet, there's a small box, brown with batteries in it.
Batteries out?
I could hobble my way over there and back, that'd probably take me 2 minutes. Are there any questions from the public then to Clerk Byrne on his report? And seeing none, I'll give this to Mr. Monet, and I'll play with yours.
Okay.
And let us hear your report.
Yep. Good evening. Yeah, I have a few things this evening. First of all, for me, as I'm sure you'd probably have already been aware, I want to apologize to both candidates. What I deem to be not procedurally correct in my eyes of how this should have went down to making sure everything was done appropriately. I would like to say I think you're both qualified. You were my two top candidates. I cannot good in conscience vote when there's so many unanswered questions on the table. So there's the reason for my no votes. It's nothing personal. And I thank you for the information and the time and consideration in all this. So that being said, yeah, so I've been researching more of the state statutes and townships across the entire state on fertilizer setback bans. There's a lot of information out there. I'm compiling it now. I'm not really ready to talk about a lot of it right now because there are a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. Let's see. So that's it on that. So in the last month, I think it's pretty clear that planning and zoning is definitely my wheelhouse. So I've been doing a lot more research. There's a conference coming up in August. I will be asking the board's permission to pay for my travel and expenses to go to another conference to do with planning and zoning for the state of Michigan. And the number one topic on the agenda, short-term rentals. So I definitely would like to be there for that based on what's going on here. And finally, as I've spoken to Treasurer Hops about this briefly, is since it's pretty clear that nothing's going to happen right away, that I had mentioned this before, and I think we really need to look at, he has assured me that there is plenty enough time to get a very short questionnaire put into the taxes about short-term rentals. I have come up with 7 basic questions. I think it would be a really, really good indicator of where we sit as a community. And the questions are, I'm going to run through them. This is not verbatim, but they're real simple. You know, should short-term rentals be banned? Yes, no, not sure. Should short-term rentals be, you know, basically let them exist at large? Yes, no, not sure. Should short-term rentals be allowed with strict regulations? Yes, no, not sure. Now, for me, I will compile the results. One of the big questions for me is, do you have a short-term rental next door to you? If not, go move on to the next question. If you do, I would like to hear the feedback on the experience. Final 2 questions, real simple. Do you believe that short-term rentals hinder the community's ability for housing and or, you know, things of that nature? But I have it all written out. It's not going to say like that. Yes, no, not sure. And finally, is there an economic benefit to a community to allow short-term rentals? Done. Those simple questions right there will give us a clear, concise idea of where the community stands and what they're actually looking for. And I think we should get it included in the taxes. It's anonymous. You can walk it in. You can return it with your taxes in the mail. And as I said, I would certainly volunteer to compile the results for everyone. That's it. Thank you.
Is there time enough to do that? Because he's planning on getting those
Yes.
taxes out tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Oh.
Monday.
Sorry,
Oh.
Monday. Well,
Yeah.
he told me tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Earlier
Yeah.
today.
There's,
I'm kidding you.
yeah,
Monday.
all
Well,
depends on the county, and there's still,
Yeah.
as of tonight, haven't.
Is there time?
Sure.
Okay, that's the end of that. So do you
Wouldn't cost
need-
us but a few cents per sheet of paper. I don't know. I just think it'd be a really good idea for the community.
Having had a lot of experience looking at surveys and trying to compile them and make sure that you're not slanted one way or the other or seeing slanted ones one way or the other, I would make a motion on this because I'm not in favor of it if the board approves this happens. There are so many ways to interpret data. I'm not in favor of doing it. I'm not in favor of you being in charge of it alone.
Sure. I'm not in
I'm
favor of you only talking to the
favor of
attorney.
you coming up with questions that we throw in something in the next 2 days.
Just like you drew up the short-term rental ordinance on your own without even consulting the board. Very good.
No, the short-term rental, all the changes that we made to it, we did as a board, and
That's
you
fine.
voted no on most of them.
Absolutely.
So I'll make a motion anyway that we do not include a letter in this mailing of the taxes with what is going to be called a survey. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second for a pointed discussion. I just don't think that's what we should do for the reasons I already stated.
My discussion is if the questions are brief and simple, like he has said,
So, yeah.
there would be no interpretation to go on. So I have no problem with brief, short questions that have simple answers.
I would like to say for the record, in my over year and a half on this board, one thing that was adamant and put very out there very, very clearly when we campaigned to run for office, I don't care if it had to do with the sewer or not or septic or anything, is openness and transparency. And it was said more than once. In fact, I lost count of how many times it was said we would canvass the community. A survey on the website means nothing because that can be interpreted different ways too. When have we gone out of our way? This is the first motion brought to the board to actually canvass the community on a subject or topic that is so contentious, so divided. Why wouldn't we want some answers? Is my question.
The one concern that just came up into my head is suppose somebody takes the little questionnaire that they got and they make 200 copies and then they check them all the way they want them to do it. How are we going to stop that from happening?
Well, you're never going to be able to stop it. You could do the
Well,
same thing online. You could have a gazillion people survey.
When we went through this before, and I looked at all the surveys that other townships were sending out, there was only one, and you may remember this, from a township over by Traverse City that was done by a professional company in order to keep the bias out of it. That was as close, yes, we had intended to do a lot of that. And then in working this job, I became aware of how many ways that can be manipulated. I don't think it should happen now. Now, if you want to try and get us together with a set of questions that everybody agrees on, or use a company to prepare it, I would be okay with that. But doing it short notice, just whipping questions at people, no way.
I think if you number them, that would take a lot of the,
You have to do the, it's the same thing with, before we talked about the webpage. How do you prove that these people are residents? If you send it to the text, then you have to include their tax ID on the response. You have to do a lot more than just ask them questions.
Why do they have to be anonymous? Why couldn't somebody just come in and say, my name is Steve,
Yeah.
this is my
If they,
survey,
well,
check it?
yeah,
I
if
don't
you
mind.
want to
Yeah.
put on the, if you want to try and get something in with
Yeah.
the taxes, you'd have to create a form where they're putting their property ID on it.
Sure, I don't
Yeah.
care.
Okay.
This seems like an awful fast decision to make when we've had a year and a half.
Okay, well, I brought this up a month ago and
I-
nobody was on board.
I
Just
don't
so you
agree
all are-
with it from
yeah.
that standpoint. These questions could have been brought up a year ago.
And I did bring up a questionnaire numerous times. And it
Okay,
was
did it
shot.
get turned down then?
It was never voted on.
No, never got to that.
So you didn't make a motion
Yeah.
out of it.
Nope, I did not.
And I can tell you that whatever it was, I would have voted no, having
Yeah.
understood how surveys work much better now.
I think this has gone on long enough with the short-term rental. To be honest, I could care less if there is one or there isn't one, and they're illegal, they're illegal. We need to know from the residents, do they want these or not? And I'll be honest, the most that I hear is they don't want them. So if we want to put this up to the residents, which we should, I have no problem putting that in, putting it in with the taxes, and let's get feedback. I mean,
And I will say for the record, it doesn't have to be my questions, but I find it completely insulting that we would have to spend taxpayer monies to ask you, the people, do you want short-term rentals or not? Are we not intelligent enough to make up some very simple questions sitting here and with your guidance that what do we want as a community? We have to pay an outsider? Well, then we might as well just let the state come in and like they're trying to do all the time and take away our township rights. If we can't decide this on our own, I'm sorry, we are doomed.
Yep. It reminds me of when we were dealing with GLUA and the surveys they were putting out and how adamant you were that they were slanted. I did put due diligence into surveys. Either way, if you guys
Yeah.
want to do it, then that's what'll happen. If
I
you
think
don't, you
I
don't.
think simple questions that have a number or a place where when you turn it in, you get checked off.
Sure.
So we know that we're not getting flooded by a bunch of fake things. Simple questions, a way to document that they came from people that own property. I'm in favor of that.
If you want a simple question, just have tax ID number, and do you want, would you want short-term rentals to continue in Lyon Township? And then if the answer is no and we pursue it, then we'll get into all the legal entanglements that our attorney has warned us about. But you don't need any more than one question. You want short-term rentals or not? If you're gonna do it.
That's fine with, I think that's cut and dry. And then,
Any other discussion from the board? Okay, I'll make a motion that included in this year's tax mailing be one survey question of whether the residents want short-term rentals in Lyon Township or not, and a space for their tax ID number. Is there a second for that?
I'll second.
Any other discussion on that motion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion to add the one sentence and tax ID number to the tax mailing somewhere or on a separate sheet of paper, signify by saying
Well-
aye.
Well, before we do that, I'm pretty sure we can fit it on the existing sheet. We don't have to generate a third sheet for that, or the second sheet for the,
On the tax sheet or
Yeah.
on the newsletter?
on the newsletter. I mean, and we'll fit it on there.
Will,
Yeah.
I'll
We-
have to call him and squeeze
we
it in
will-
there somewhere, so something's gotta go. You know, there's only so much, I don't
Yeah,
care.
there's room at the bottom, there should be.
I
We'll
can-
look at it, but,
When do you need this by?
by Monday.
I can get a hold of him and put something in there. As long as we have an understanding that we're voting on a, do you want short-term rentals in Lyon Township and a tax ID number? Everybody clear on that? Because that's what I'll put in there. I don't want to hear that, oh, that isn't what we decided.
Timothy, you good with that?
Let's vote. No, I'm not. Let's vote.
Okay, all right. So any other discussion from the board? So on that motion as stated twice, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What do we got here? Two? Okay, 2 ayes. All those opposed, the same?
Nay.
Okay,
Okay, I got 2. Steve, where were you on that?
I said aye.
Oh, so we got 3 ayes? Okay. And then those opposed?
two.
Yep, two.
Okay. All right, that motion carries at 3-2. Well, where's that put us? Sexton. Bruce here, still? Come on up, sir, and I will say the cemetery is looking really, really good.
Thank you. Okay. So I had 2 full burials this past month. They were full graves. And I placed 2, and I marked 2 headstones that were placed this month. The water's still out, and I'm sure that we'll have that fixed by soon.
Was one of the headstones a Bertrand?
Pardon?
Was one of the headstones a Bertrand?
Just,
No, I'm working on that one now.
Yeah, I know it's coming up there.
just so you know, the quote did come today. I forwarded it to all the board members to repair it, so we finally did get the quote.
Okay. I've had, I don't know, 5 or 6 inquiries about the
Yeah,
water.
it took them a long time, but they're the only ones who replied out of 3.
I just told them to put a coffee can out when it's raining.
They can probably get quite a bit now.
Okay, you want me to do the ordinance thing too, unless anyone has any questions?
Where's my list? Yeah, does anybody have any questions for the Sexton or comments? Okay. And that would move you to ordinance officer.
Okay, I'm still working on the Mooncrest thing. I'm gonna put that to bed by July 4th. I'm gonna serve my letter to them. I'm gonna give them 2 weeks to move all their stuff out of there. And if they don't, I'm gonna have to ticket them. This has been going on for 1.5 years. It's time to put an end to it. As far
Do
as
what
the
you
liquor
gotta do.
inspection, that all went well this month. I pulled 9 songs off of telephone poles. I'm not gonna let people put signs up and screw them in the telephone poles. I mean, there's screws in there this long in the telephone poles. In fact, I'm gonna have to get a ladder to get the ones off of Old 27 because they're so high. But I even had somebody screw one into a live tree. I mean, that's just bad. So there's only 4 places in the township that you're allowed to put signs. Unless it's a garage sale or something like that. But as far as doing commercial signs, we have an ordinance, there's only 4 places that we're allowed to put it.
So I got a question on the signs. So if they're in your yard, you're okay?
Yes. If they're in your yard, you can advertise all you want, like the signs that we have here, the few signs that we have here, that's okay.
So along the road, like along Old 27, that's not okay?
It depends on,
You can do where, if you're talking about the blinker light down there, you're allowed to put signs that are on stands this high, but you can't nail them into a telephone pole.
But
That's one of the 4 areas where it's allowed.
Okay. But they can be on the ground?
They can be on the ground, yes.
we've gone through signs a couple of times. If they're in the county road right away, they'll run them over with a mower.
They just pick them up.
Or pick them up. If you're on the edge and it gets into a dispute of exactly where is the edge of the county road right away, nobody on planet Earth wants to get into that battle. So if you put them out there, they generally get left, and the state, if you are farther to where you're on state property, they won't get involved either. But yeah, that is one of the locations in Lyon Township you can put them, yes. If you go after them,
Well, I'm not going after the signs, I just don't think that you should be putting them on telephone poles and screwing them in. In fact, it's a national thing, you're really not supposed to do that. Because there's
No.
like little codes on there that they read, and they're covered up.
I understand
So,
that.
I mean, and they're using screws, I mean, come on.
I understand that. It's your job. You do what you think you gotta do.
That's right.
My concern would be the ones you don't get and the arguments about why'd you take mine, but I'm sure you'll do a good job.
I just don't want it to look like Detroit.
Got nothing to do with my concern, does it?
Well, I don't want, I mean.
Does Detroit look bad or something?
I know.
I'm not
I mean,
listening to that.
27 looked like Gratiot and 8 Mile, for God's sakes. And there was like 30 of them at one point over there.
Okay. Anybody got any questions for the ordinance officer?
Thank you.
Yeah, he does a great job up there on the cemetery. And as ordinance officer, okay, next is Parks and Rec. Leanne, do you have anything, or? Sure, if you, sure, if you got something, go ahead. If not, you wouldn't. Yeah, there, okay.
Hi, I'm Leanne Wisnowski. I'm the chair, the volunteer chair of the Parks and Rec Committee. Currently, we are working on a grant we received to conduct 3 clean water sessions and the passing out of awareness flyers and educating the public. Those are going to be taking place at Samoset Park. One of our volunteer committee members will be educating the public on cleaning boats and toys and all kinds of stuff that come out of the water to prevent contamination. Recently, we put a loaner sand toy box at Samoset. It's to borrow, use, and then return into the box. That seems to be going well. There's a big sand pile there that the kids are using it. The ADA swing has arrived for Samoset, and that will be installed soon, I guess. It just depends on our maintenance department.
Next week.
I told Richard to tell you, I don't know if you did, there's a list of things we have to do when we put it up and invite the newspaper, and Amanda sent me all this information, so it's similar to the ice rink. We have to kind of try and play it up. She put it quite eloquently to show that we are working in good faith with the sponsors and the people that give us this stuff. Everybody wants their due, so it might be a little longer than a week, but we can probably arrange something.
That swing was provided by the Weyerhaeuser grant that we received. And it will be placed closest to the area where a wheelchair can reach it. We have the ADA mulch in place underneath the swings for anyone who needs it. I'm not sure if everyone knows, but maybe we applied for the DNR grants for Park 27 and for Samoset Park. We're waiting on those decisions, but we did have a site visit by two DNR officers scouting our worthiness for the grant, the paved trail, the soccer area, for Park 27. We are going to be applying for the Rotary grant for the Loaner Life Jacket Station for Samoset, which would be a great asset to that park. We are waiting. One of the things that Parks and Rec has taken great pride in is the fish statue that's going to be going up. We've been waiting for a very long time to get this up at Phoenix Park. We did receive a grant for a camera that could be placed on the fish, and I think the board is working through some disagreements on the camera. I'm not really sure about that, but we would like a camera placed on the fish when the fish eventually is put up for the fish trail. And then the concerts start this Saturday.
Thank you. The camera, this board did not approve accepting the grant. The cost with the new camera and using the grant money would be about $2,000 to the township. The cost using the old one and not using the grant at all was about $1,000, and this board decided to go with that version. So the work that went into getting that grant, which only applied to help buy a new camera, went down the tubes. So be it.
Yep. Our committee is
Actually, I
there.
think those numbers are a little off.
I don't believe they are.
Yeah, it was $940 to move the existing camera, and it was $4,200 for the new
Regardless
one.
of that, this board already approved
The camera.
the moving of the camera
Yes.
and everything associated with it to be placed onto the fish.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
We
okay.
just didn't want,
No, the number, you're wrong.
we didn't want to
The grant money
spend.
was $2,400. If you subtract that from the 4,000,
4,400.
from the 44, then it would have been somewhere around $2,000. Right.
Right.
It was not $4,000 to do it. That would be utilizing the
bill
grant
was
money.
Yeah, the bill was
So it would
$4,000
have
less
cost
the grant
us
money.
$1,000 more to get a new camera.
Yes.
And this board did not vote for that.
You want to ask questions?
Sure, if she wants to hang around and answer them.
Regarding the dog park. Park 27. At one time, when I was with Glen Township, we purchased a number of things for the dog park. All that stuff is gone now. I just wondered if the rec committee has any intentions of putting any new stuff in there.
What is it that you are looking for?
We had like hoops, and there was like a jump thing in there. It's all gone now.
Okay.
Actually, we had ordered it through, we actually had a flyer on it.
Okay.
I'm sure Mark has it because they were real nice stuff.
I will say that it was brought to our attention about the doggy poop bags and the station that goes with that. So I believe that we either applied for a grant or included that in our DNR application for the passport grant. But I will definitely pass that on, and that's something that we can look at for
I
sure.
was just curious.
Yeah.
Well, there's more. I'm not in head of any maintenance stuff now, but when I was, this Parks and Rec committees made suggestions to get stuff for the dog park, and that was forwarded to the maintenance crew at least 2 months ago. So I don't know if anything happened there, but since then, I've heard that we should put, and they're right, we should fence an area off for small dogs.
What do you mean what do you mean the maintenance to get something for the dog park?
Asked J.C. and Richard to look into what else they could buy. They got the books out. We're looking at some different stuff. I don't know whatever. The tube things they run through, the railing, if you remember the discussions on the old thing that the dogs would climb up on was made of wood. They didn't want to do that, so they were looking at plastic ones. It's one of many things on those lists that I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I've never seen the list. I don't know why maintenance would do it. That's my opinion, Parks and Rec.
It was for them
The
to
Parks and
look
Rec
for the
Committee
equipment.
only makes recommendations to the board.
Thank you.
That is what we do.
Did you make any
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, it
We've
was on
made
that
so
list.
many.
for dog?
We have,
Yes.
yes.
Oh,
I mean,
I
I
don't-
can give you examples of other things that we've.
I don't
asked
know
the
if I've
board
ever
that have
seen one. That's why I'm
Never come
asking.
to fruition, that have never been built by maintenance, like the hammock stands. We've never gotten them. We have asked numerous times, and we
I-
just, it doesn't happen.
You
They're all
haven't
on-
asked while I've been in.
Okay, they're all on that list. When you took over, they're all on that list.
What list are you talking about?
The
You
one
keep
I
saying
gave
there's a
you.
list.
The one I gave
You-
you that I was running through maintenance
No.
every week.
You didn't give me any list that I'm
Yes, I did.
aware of.
Yes, I did.
So how
Well,
about do
at
it
the end
again?
of the-
Anyway,
At the end of
it,
the
we
day, it has to come to the board for approval.
Yeah.
Recommendations are recommendations. They should go from Parks and Rec to maintenance to
Right.
this board. I personally have never, ever once heard of any dog park
That's
accessories
Thank you.
brought to this board for
Okay,
approval.
they can't be brought to the board till the maintenance gets a price on them. That's what it was about. They were gonna look for different things, how much would it cost?
Well, there it be. Then I guess we gave
That's-
the maintenance
yeah, that's
department
what it
head a
is.
raise for nothing.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, the addition of a small dog area probably
I don't believe
makes
it's the
sense.
maintenance department's job to get prices on things for the park.
Okay.
They're the ones who fix things, repair things, not price things. So.
Anyway, I did hear about a small dog area, makes sense, so big dogs
Sure.
don't tromp.
I like it,
on
yeah.
little dogs. Any other questions for Leanne?
I got one. The boat cleaning you mentioned, where is, what, is that at West Launch? What
At
is,
Samoset Park.
at Samoset? And where is that? Is that,
What do you mean? It's not a station. It's just an education project.
oh, I
with
thought,
signage and
yeah.
pamphlets, and
Okay.
then Laura will be
I
speaking.
misunderstood. I thought there was a boat cleaning.
No,
Okay.
there's no station.
All right.
Nope.
This is it's another grant. This is why we pay Amanda to come up with these things.
Yeah, they launch a lot of kayaks at Samoset, and really the education is needed there, for sure. We can't really hold this type of presentation at the West Launch. It's just, you're not gonna get the crowds, and it's so busy that it would be dangerous to have it there. So we
No, that's
figured
fine.
this has the best, it's on the water, it has the best accommodations for people to come down and listen to Laura's
It's
presentation.
pretty busy over there.
Yeah.
Yes, Sam?
The previous administration, that's when the Friends of Lyon Township was active, donated and paid for having a fly over by the tennis court. I was there for quite a while, and the storm came and knocked it down. I asked the previous administration what they would do about it, and they said, quote, "It's not in their budget." Now,
You-
hear me out, hear me out.
Well, you'll be happy to hear there's a
Hear me
flagpole.
out, hear me out. So I said, really? a lot of cans we picked up to pay for that flagpole, and it was beautiful. So I'm just asking this board to look at it, reconsider. If you have any money, maybe earmark a little extra in the rec fund, putting a flagpole out there, that would be great.
So we got a flagpole donated to us, and we will be putting up a flagpole at Park 27 now.
Yeah, Richard and I were there. Richard picked it up. JC and Richard picked it up, took it over there. I don't know what the estimated date of it being up. There was talk to try and get it up before this first concert, but it would be probably more in the amphitheater field than at the tennis courts. Nice flagpole.
It's just nice to have a flagpole.
What,
Yeah.
you mean in the middle of where people sit, you're gonna put a flagpole there? There's no way.
No, I don't think about the middle. It was probably more near where the power pole is there. There were people at concerts last year that put flags up in the middle of the area. Where are you suggesting it should go? Because you got to tell Richard. I don't know where he's planning.
I mean, anywhere but in the middle of the amphitheater, I would say.
Not the middle of the amphitheater, probably by the power pole that is outside of the roped-in area. Or if you want it out in the field, or if you want it by the tennis, I don't care. Tell him. He's the one that's putting it in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll figure out a spot for it.
I think part of the intent was to have it near the concert series, so when you took a picture of the crowd, there was a flagpole somewhere in that picture. Could be a lot of places.
Yeah,
All right, so, okay, that takes care of Parks and Rec. Sure didn't miss anybody else here. Okay, that was everybody. I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the reports given by the department heads and that they be filed in the clerk's office. Do we have a second?
second.
Okay. Any further discussion on that?
Per the agenda, are we including that in the consent agenda, or is this a separate item?
Separate. I'm getting the consent agenda next.
Okay.
Any other discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the board and department reports to be moved into given to the clerk to be filed by the clerk, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same?
Nay.
Whoops, let me change that. 5 to 1. Okay, so the motion carries 4 to 1. Next would be the consent agenda. For this consent agenda, I did not type it in there because I didn't have it all. So this includes minutes from May 13th monthly work session. These are all over on the table, by the way. The May 13th monthly work session, the May 19th special board meeting, the May 20th township board meeting minutes, also the invoice register, from 5/23/26 to 6/18/26, and the check register from 5/23/26 to 6/18/26. That is the contents of the consent agenda. I will make a motion, that we approve the consent agenda as stated. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Kern. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none. End the discussion. Can we have a roll call vote, please, Clerk Kern, on that?
Sure. Treasurer Hobbs.
Yes.
Clerk Pern, yes. Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
No.
trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries 4-1. Okay, that gets us to board comments. Who would like to start?
Wow.
I'll just, for me on that bid I sent you guys for the broken water pipe at the cemetery today. I mean, it's gotta be fixed, and they're the only ones who actually, they responded, the other two responded saying, we're not taking any new business till end of July, so I would like to get this fixed. We got water over at the cemetery. I didn't bring a copy with me, but I emailed it to all you guys today.
yeah.
So we can do it tonight. If you want to wait till work session, that's fine.
What's their, like, time frame to get to it?
They can do it whenever we give them the okay.
So are you taking a water pail and going around without this water, or what are you doing out there?
24, 18.
The new section, there could be water, for safety reasons, I turned off the circuit breaker. It's just the pipe that goes across right into the shed that's cracked. So they
What-
gotta dig that entire road.
The whole line has to come out.
And they need to go deeper, because that pipe was only like 18
Yeah.
inches below the ground.
It froze over the winter.
And the trucks too, that drive over there, the garbage trucks and so forth, probably cracked it. 'Cause that's what it is, it's cracked.
Probably. We kept it open this winter, and it's probably wasn't put in deep enough for that. But anyway, what's the cost on it?
$2,400,
Piper,
2418, you got it there.
Piper Plumbing.
Piper Plumbing.
Why don't you make a motion if that's what it is? I don't see any reason not getting it done. Why wait for the
Get
work
it done
session?
while we can.
All right, I'll make a motion to hire Piper Plumbing to dig and repair and replace the pipe at the cemetery, water pipe at the cemetery for $2,418.
241854.
Okay, why don't you hold off and we'll do that. We'll ask to move that into the agenda. And then do the vote there, because we're still kind of in the board comments.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else from the board members? I know you must have something.
I'm not so sure.
Okay. I don't have anything. Anybody else?
I've talked to several people, they're still concerned about that big hole in the middle of Central Park Boulevard.
They didn't fix that yet?
Huh?
They haven't fixed it yet?
No, it's 5 feet in diameter and 4 feet deep, right in the middle of the road. The road's blocked off. I talked to Roscommon County, and they said they've got other projects ahead of them. It's not an easy fix. I don't know how much of that culvert, it's a drainage culvert that drains a big area. Water comes down, it comes to this culvert, and then it goes down to the lake, and it's a spring runoff thing, and you know how much spring runoff we had this year. Well, that created this gigantic hole in there. And so it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be an extensive and a costly fix, and I think they're trying to work on the budget for it, but I've just been passing it on to people that have been asking me that, you know, it's in the works, it's a Roscommon County thing, and there's not much that the township can do about it. But it's,
I thought they fixed it. I'll see Neil tomorrow and get on him about what the holdup is. If there's anything to do with emergency management funds and waiting for it, I'll go through the roof higher than I usually do about things. They need to fix that thing. They can get their money later, but they need to fix it. Anything else from the board members?
Did you hear back from the attorney regarding the SAD bill?
No, the SAD bill, the zoning administrator, and a couple other things were all on an email that I had sent some separately. I put them together on one email and asked them to try and answer me by today, and I did not get an answer yet.
All right.
Unfortunate. I'm very unlike our law firm. Okay, so that'd be the end of the board comments. So for the meeting agenda,
I got time for
number
more.
one was for the fire chief, so we can strike that. The rest would be 2, 3, 4. And I do have an addition I would like to suggest, and maybe other board members also have something. So if anyone has any additions they want to add to the agenda, I want to add one as number
Well, you can make it 5.
yeah, I can make it
If you want to.
good enough for me. To discuss Higgins Lake Foundation water testing. Okay, has anybody else got any additions?
Number 6 would be a PC repair estimate for Pam and myself. Pam's can't be updated, and mine, the inside went haywire. And I think the warranties are 3 years, and this one, they're both on 5 at least. So we have estimates there. But
Okay.
we'll get to that when we get to 6. And number 7 would be the 3 recruits that we have in the fire department are making a ridiculous wage right now, just to bring them up to the minimum wage, up to $13.73, and then with the cost of living increase that we just are instituting for the 1st of July, they'd be up to $14.14 each of them. There's 3 of them, Mason, Lloyd, and Kuchar. So right now they're still at $12, all of them, and we'll be in some trouble if we don't do something about that.
Okay, I got that as number 7. Is there anything else?
You want to make your sewer connection or your plumbing people do?
Yeah, but I'm not going to be here for that one.
Okay.
Hey,
Make it
if you want to make it for me?
Make it 1.
We can put it in
We
there
have
at 1
nobody
if you
at
gotta
1?
leave.
Yeah, because I gotta.
Well, I know you better go
Appointment.
somewhere.
So number 1 would be the Piper
Yeah.
2400.
Yeah, that just came in today too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is there anything else? Okay, hearing none, that leaves us 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 items on the agenda as modified. So I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as modified. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda as modified signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed the same. That motion carries 5-0. Okay, so number 1,
Go ahead, Piper.
Well, we pretty much talked about it.
Yeah, I know
Just,
you did.
I'll make a motion that we approve payment to, is it Piper Industries with Piper?
Piper Plumbing.
Plumbing and heating.
Okay, Piper Plumbing and Heating.
Right.
To repair the water line in the cemetery at a cost of $2,400. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion from the board?
Yeah, can someone forward me that bid, because as everyone knows about me, unless I see it in writing, I do not vote for anything, because it's not my money, it's the taxpayer money.
Yeah, I sent them, I got it today.
Oh, that's okay, I
Late
just didn't
this-
check my trustee email.
Yeah, it was
before I
late
came
this
today.
afternoon, so
So-
you've got it. It's in your email.
Right, but I need to see it now to vote on it.
Oh.
If Greg can send me some, if he's right there on his phone, sorry, I don't mean to be a pain, but
Can
unless
you-
I see it
Can
in
you
front
just
of
show
me,
them your phone
or just send it to me.
or forward it to them? Yeah.
Thank you.
For my part, please try to make sure that this thing gets 2.5 feet in the ground, 3. If we're gonna continue to keep the cemetery open and the driving on it drives the frost line down, I'm sure they were not doing that before, but we are now. So that thing needs to be way down there.
Well, I mean, if we are gonna keep it open too, I don't know where any other water lines are that go across the road. Are there any other?
No, well, there'd probably be a water line that goes from, where, you know, like by where the garage is. There has to be a water line somewhere that goes across on that road, that goes somewhere from the garage where the road goes around, because that's how it gets into these sections. Into the new section, there has to be a water line over there somewhere.
It was, all of the loops were plowed, right? Last year? Okay, if they were all plowed, then there's nothing else that was near enough to break. Even if it is under it, it's deeper or it's something.
And for all we know, that line that's in the new section could be deeper than the line that goes right across from the shed.
If they were smart, they put it 2.5, but
I just hope it doesn't, happen again to a different one, that's all.
Well, they definitely need to go deeper. They gotta go down another, at least 8 feet.
Why is that water left on through the winter where it's
No, it was blown out. Not very good, I guess.
Did you get it, Timothy?
No, it wasn't a matter of from the water being shut off or turned on. It was a matter, I think, from the cars and the trucks that drive over it. Because it's only this deep. That's all it is.
Right.
all right, if we put it in
Okay.
deeper, and
And I mean, it literally cracked. So I think it's from like the garbage trucks and the guy that does the.
Well, the winter played a big part in it, there's no doubt. I mean, not being down deep enough.
Maybe they need to just leave it.
Don't have
you lost me.
Well, when I had my new septic put in a few years ago, it had to cut right through my circle driveway, so the health department, this seems like a situation might warrant it too, so there's a break, they had to double sleeve, and then they eventually decided to triple sleeve the main line, so driving on it wouldn't drive the frost down and potentially break it. So it seems like this might be a situation where if you sleeve that line, then anything driving over it, there's extra protection.
It's only PVC.
Yeah,
So
so there's just a thought.
Okay, we got a motion on the
Yep.
table to fix that crack line at $2,400. Is there any other discussion on that? Okay, so you heard a couple of additional suggestions, but on the motion to pay Piper Plumbing and Heating $2,400, can we have a roll call on that, please, Clerk Kern?
Sure. Clerk Kern, yes. Treasurer Huff.
Yes.
Trustee Detmer.
Yes.
Trustee Malinak.
Yes.
And Supervisor Bertrand.
Yes. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda is a potential hire of Joshua Schneider.
Everybody's got his resume.
Well, you got him again.
So this is a temporary, it's a 3-month hire, to help out our maintenance guys, because they're taking vacations now. And I really want to designate Richard strictly to the compost area for the next 3 months to get it done. We're about halfway there. But obviously, one guy can't do all the rest of the maintenance, so I'd like to bring him on for July through September. 3 months at $15 an hour, 23 hours a week for 3 months.
do you want to go the safe route and say and as needed, or just limit it?
No, I think by the end of September, we'll be done with,
He meant the 23 hours, I think.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 23 hours.
oh. I mean,
I mean, he's working pretty much for you and JC. It's always easier to have flexibility,
No,
but it doesn't matter to me.
I think 23 is good.
Okay. You're making a motion?
I can make one. I'll make a motion that we hire Joshua Schneider to the maintenance crew at a rate of $15 an hour and 23 hours a week. Do we have a second?
For 90 days.
For 90 days. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion, or any discussion more from the board?
And I'll just add, we did have another applicant who was supposed to come in Monday for an interview and never showed up and never called, so Joshua came in, met with myself and both maintenance guys, and they asked him all kinds of questions. His resume's in front of you guys, so I think he's a good fit.
Any other discussions from the board? Okay, hearing none, on the motion to hire Joshua to the maintenance crew at $15 an hour for 90 days at 23 hours a week. Could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
Yes.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
clerk Byrne, yes, treasurer Huff.
Yes.
Okay, carries 5-0. The next thing on the agenda was a potential decision,
Let's wait 1 minute. Yeah, go
potential
ahead.
decision on zoning administrator. It says salary on the agenda, but this was a request from our zoning administrator to change the way that he is paid into a salary situation. I had forwarded this to the attorney. I have not heard yet back from him on it, and I'm not touching this with a 50-foot pole until I do.
Suggest tabling.
So if it's all right with you guys, then just table that, because I don't
Yeah.
have anything new to bring to it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
All right. Next is the approval of a contract to clear brush from the cemetery. My top-notch printer person shorted me on this, but
Oh,
Gotcha.
hey, you want to do it formally, we have to do a motion to excuse you from the meeting.
Yeah, we got.
Running late already.
I'll make a motion that we excuse Mr. Hops from the meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Nay.
Okay, so what you're looking at here is two pictures. On the corner of the cemetery, the drive that goes up to the cemetery. There's a lot of brush and trees and scrubby trees and stuff right in there. The second picture is if that was all cleared out, you get a view of, in that second picture.
No, it's okay. I'll show it.
In the second picture, you're actually, if you were on the road, driving down Higgins Lake Drive here, you can suddenly see the back half of the cemetery. And this is, I ran this by Parks and Rec, but it's mostly, I mean, it's a board decision on whether we do it. I personally like the idea because if you drive down West Higgins Lake Drive, Bruce does a great job taking care of all that area, but the whole second half of the cemetery in the background, you don't even know is there. This would open it up to where on that same drive, people could go, wow, that looks nice, and wow, that looks nice too. And it would be nice, I think, for those who are inclined to feel that way, the people who are buried over there, and I actually have a plot over there now. Yeah, basically, you can see the church if you think that our dearly beloved who have passed away are into that. It clears the way so they can see the church from that area and opens it up. It'd look a heck of a lot better. So the bid that I'm going to propose is on the third page. I'll give you the number. The number got cut off, but this would be to remove and mulch all the limbs and trees up to 6 inches. Take them all out of there. It's going to leave it neat and clean and leave the mulch right there. So it's going to sprout back up with ferns at first. And eventually, if grass grows in there, great. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. So it puts it in, making it look like a park-like appearance. So the cost for that was $3,000, and what's cut off on your page is $3,105. So you all have pictures of this. I know Clerk Kern has seen it before.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a motion for the sake of discussion then that this board approve the contract, and this is from Northern Michigan Landscaping, right down the road here.
I thought it was land work.
Or I'm sorry, Landworks of Northern Michigan. There we go. For $3,105 to clean that area out on the cemetery so that there's a better view of it from West Higgins Lake Drive.
Second for sake of
Okay,
discussion?
second from Mr. Kearns. Any other discussion from the board?
Yeah, but, do they know that, this is the same group that did that, expansion in front of the amphitheater? And they cleared that up, and they make that look real nice now.
Probably not, but you just told them.
Okay, just, yeah. They did awfully nice work, and they did it quickly. They did it on that holiday weekend. That was pretty good. So, does he have a time frame when he can get to this?
I would suspect he could do it pretty quick because he tries to do things for us as quick as he can.
Okay.
It's not far away, so it's not like,
No, it's not far away.
I think it's a matter, the amphitheater was a matter of when he had a couple hours, he just did it.
Yeah, I just have a question. With all the equipment and our maintenance crew, and we just hired another person, this isn't something that could be done cheaper, a little bit at a time, maybe even if we hired another person and just slowly worked at it. Just curious, seems like,
Would you like to start an ad hoc committee to figure out who'd like to go down there and do that work?
well, if it's their job, it's their job.
I've been saying it for a year.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
If
Okay.
it's their job, they should clean it.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
hang on,
who we-
all right.
yeah, so,
Okay, our maintenance
Thank
crew
you.
person has left the building. I'm going to tell you that part of this is there is new machinery now that is a kind of a rolling chopper that just eliminates everything. So instead of running it through like a branches through a mulch machine and it spits them out the back end, it just grinds them up right there in place, including the trees or whatever comes down, eliminates it all so that the mulch ends up being what was there with this new machinery. It's pretty fast, pretty efficient.
Personally, I'd like to look out my car window and see trees and not tombstones, so I just as soon leave the trees there.
Okay.
well, I have a quick question. You interrupted when I said our maintenance person is here. This board never approved Mr. Hops to be in charge of the maintenance department. He is not, the board is in charge of the maintenance department with recommendations from Parks and Rec to us and back and forth.
Yes.
So this whole notion that now we have someone that's on the board, which is not a statutory duty, in charge of maintenance and parks or whatever's going on, nobody tells me. I don't get it because they're not. I'm sorry. We as a board are in charge of the
Yes, we
maintenance
are.
department.
A
So,
better term would probably be liaison.
okay, well, we never voted for that either, so.
No, and this, not to
It's fine.
belabor-
Nope, it's-
No, not to belabor the point. This is typically, grounds maintenance and stuff like that is supervisor, but you didn't want that either. It turned into me doing it as a liaison, and then, I'm not gonna continue doing it and having people, decide they don't wanna do what they should do. So, Mr.
Yeah.
Hops offered to then do
Yeah,
it.
sure. Well, as I stated before, if the right people are put in their respective positions when they're in charge and head of a department, there wouldn't be these problems. And as a board, we should demand more from them. And if they don't, we get rid of them and find someone else who will take care of it.
Well stated. If you would like to bring that up as a.
Yeah, great, okay.
No,
Put me-
I'm saying.
Ad hoc.
You can I have no problem with you taking charge of looking at what actually happens within our maintenance group. I'm not gonna do it because I know what's happening. And in trying to correct it, there was no support from this board twice in the last year. I know
Well,
what they're
it's
supposed to
because
be doing.
you shouldn't have had to do the work. You are the acting
In either
supervisor,
case,
and
if
not have
you
to
want-
micromanage is just wrong.
No, but if you want to try and get into what they're doing and why, go for it.
We'll see.
Okay, that's a good answer. Okay, so back to the contract to clear that out and make a better view from West Higgins Lake Drive and the church, and so that the whole thing looks a little cleaner. Is there any other discussion from the board?
One final question for me, sorry. And I'm not sure this is a general, I don't know how to call it, a non-denominational cemetery, but I know it is for Catholics. Where the sun rises, where that wooded area is, isn't it placed in such a way that, because this will be the deciding factor for me, that in Catholic cemeteries, everyone has to be faced with your feet and your head positioned so that you rise up and meet the Lord at the rising sun. So sun rises in the east, sets in the west. So is this,
What?
it's the way it is.
Baloney.
No, it's
Okay,
not.
let's-
No,
I've been
it's,
a Catholic for 78
Listen,
years.
I can-
and
I
nobody
can-
That's
ever
canon law,
mentioned
I've looked it up.
sunrise to
Okay,
me.
I can tell you what happens on the ground.
Yeah.
The road goes around the cemetery, and all the plots are like this off of the road.
okay.
So they're gonna be,
So it just depends. So it's not one, okay. That's why I want to know, like, what direction is
it's
this?
not a military cemetery, but, I mean, as far as how that goes. Okay, any other
Nope,
discussions from the board members on this?
Just curious.
Okay, so on the motion to pay Landworks of Northern Michigan $3,105 to clean that area out and make it look better, at least in my estimation. Could we have a roll call, please, Clerk Pern?
Clerk Pern, yes. Trustee Detmer.
No,
Supervisor Bertrand.
Yes.
Trustee, wait a minute, what did I get here? I missed somebody here.
Missed
Oh, no,
Timothy.
trustee Monet, the treasurer's gone. yeah.
Yes.
Trustee Monet,
No.
okay.
Okay,
2-2.
we're
Does
at a
not pass.
stalemate. Good enough, good enough. Okay, next on the agenda. How can an agenda this small take this long? Updates, excuse me.
Water
Yeah,
testing.
oh, Higgins Lake Foundation water testing. I'll try and be brief. I was warned about this a couple of weeks ago that Higgins Lake Foundation is offering free water tests. And on the surface, that looks great, but they want to be able to use the test and submit it and use it for whatever they want in the future for considerations for the lake. I got a problem with that because 3 years ago, I ran into a bunch of testing problems with the Central Michigan District Health Department and Mr. King, who was running it then. Some of you may remember there was a map put out of Higgins Lake that had all these red spots stamped all over it. And it was created by Steve King from Central Michigan District Health Department, given to GLUA, and put in the GLUA submittal for the sewer. It had all the appearances of, oh my God, all these wells are bad. They were not bad. None of them were bad. So I got on Steve King about that. And what it all boils down to is Jim Osling from the Health of Higgins Lake Committee is going to go in the direction of any nitrates in your well water is a danger to your health. And that completely disregards what the EPA says. And in fact, kind of smacks right in the face of, well, apparently Garrish Township's smarter than the EPA. I left a pile of what happened with Steve King right there. If any of you are interested, take it. I'm not going to go through it all. But it does show the map. And when I confronted Mr. King on what he was, let me just hold that up. He actually made it look like everything around Higgins Lake was going to hell. And at that time, there was 120, I think we got to 140 later wells tested. There are no bad wells on EPA standards in Lyon Township. not one. There are, I believe, 16 in Garish. But he would not answer me if this were, when you drill a new well, you force things into the water, and they test it, and they have to test it several times before it's coming clean. I asked Mr. King, how many of these are from new wells? Well, we don't have that data. Come on, they had the data. In my opinion, Mr. King was trying to further the pursuit of the sewer, and by doing this water testing and then using it to end up saying something that is in face of the EPA, I just wanted to warn the residents that when you sign on to receive this thing, they will be able to take your data and do whatever they want with it, and they're even saying, we won't notify you. So I was hoping John Bart would be here, because I was going to ask him, what's wrong with notifying them where you want to send the data? And several other questions. So there's a stack of stuff there if you'd like to take one. But I'll leave it at that. There's no vote on it.
I would say one thing, that every time I've talked to the Central Michigan District Health Department, they've given me a straightforward answer. They haven't beat around the bush or anything. It was to do with the septic tanks and stuff. But I don't know Mr. King. I never dealt with him, but.
Well, at one point, Mr. King and I were going back and forth on this. He attempted to mislead me and sent me a picture of a frog pond with algae on it. This is no joke.
A frog pond?
No, he wouldn't name the lake. I knew how to figure out where this lake was. He sent it and said, this is what can happen. It's 5 feet deep. It's a frog pond. His attempts to mislead everything in order to support the sewer petition or the sewer project, I actually got to his bosses, got to several people, and let's just say Mr. King is no longer there.
Well, I was going to say then, let's not use him as a.
Well, I'm just saying that if you loop around from 3 years ago to now to do what appears to be free water testing, but then you're going to say 70% of the wells have nitrates in around Higgins Lake, they're all unsafe. I just letting everybody know, they're going to use the data any way they want.
Jeez.
So.
I have a comment.
Yes, sir, you go right ahead.
I'm all for testing. I'm all for protecting the lake, protecting the people. I am adamantly against, as I was before, opposed to the, in my opinion, ill-fated sewer project. Special interest or private groups handling this, and here's why. And I've had a problem with this, and I have a problem with Garrison. I'll say it publicly right now, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Article 4, Section 52 of our state constitution guarantees that the state legislative branch will protect us, in lay terms, if we have bad water. They do nothing. Our state health code mandates and powers were vested into the Central Michigan Health Department specifically for this reason. If there is a problem, they have a duty to protect us. Nobody talks about it. They have a duty to make sure that they go out there, they do the testing, they'll put in laws in place. They have that power. And nothing in all the years now I've been involved with politics for Lyon Township has one person from the state health department, the state legislative branch, or anyone come to either township and declared that there's an emergency with our water. And if there was, and we're all in danger, there's lawsuits that come to put us all at risk. And that has never happened. And I find it appalling that the state of Michigan, who just passed a House bill a couple weeks ago, is more concerned about dictating where mobile homes will be placed in the state of Michigan, taking away our rights, our constitutional rights as a township of where we want to put them in zoning districts, instead of looking at these critical issues like water, short-term rentals, sewer, septics, water, all of this. It is appalling.
You need to make these speeches in Lansing, man.
I'm going. I've been working on it.
I know you disagree with the state of Michigan, but
absolutely.
For this, my concern is with where you started with special interest groups having control of data and then trying to create, in order to get that sewer, they had to create a crisis. They scared the hell out of everybody for 3.5 years. And we came here and stopped them. That's pretty much what happened.
Well, that's my point. If there was, it says right in the Constitution, they will protect all natural waters, natural resources, and wildlife. It is their duty. Every one of us here tonight pays tax dollars that feed their pockets, and they won't do a thing. If we're such in danger, where the hell are they? I'll say it here. Put it in the paper. Where are they? I want to hear from them because I'm done after 6 years, and I find it once again appalling that they will not take a stand to protect us if there's something wrong.
Yeah, and part of that is there's nothing wrong, so.
Well, there you
I'd
go.
like to echo what Timothy says. We're the only state out of 50 that doesn't have a septic ordinance.
Yep.
I just think that's crazy.
So,
Okay. Moving on then to number 6, which is update costs for PCs.
Okay, PCs. Mine is kaput right now. I have a loaner from Kodiak, and he's waiting. There was a $600 quote to fix the insides of this, but we'd still have an old machine at that time. For $1,120, he's willing to put a new one to give us a 3-year warranty on it. The same thing goes with Pam's. Pam's can't, the deputy supervisor could not be updated. It can't be made any more modern than it is right now. So the same price. Same price is going to be, so it's about $2,300 for both of them, and he suggests looking at the next ones in need and replacing 2 a year. He says at the end of that time, we'll be in good shape. There'll be time to start over again about 5 years from now, because there are still some at the fire department, and there's other ones here. So if that looks like the best deal, I'll certainly make a motion and maybe get a second, and then we can discuss it. But I don't see a way out right now of doing it. About the same as the sewer or the water line of the cemetery. This is a gotta fix.
If you need computers, make a motion for the price. I would rather have Kodiak get them, supply them, and hook them up.
Oh, yeah, I would think so as well, yeah. Well, I would make a motion to approve the $2,300 for the clerk's computer and the deputy supervisors, and for $2,300 from Kodiak.
I'll second that. Knowing what I know, that's probably about a fair price in the $1,100 range, something like that.
Okay,
all right, for discussion, no
Sure.
disrespect, we don't have any kind of bid in front of us. Just
any kind of a what?
bid, price.
Yeah, I've got it in there. I thought I did both sheets with it, but I'll have a copy. I thought I put one in your folder, maybe I
Let me
did not.
see.
I'll make sure.
It wouldn't be, I didn't put it in the consent stuff. So.
Okay. Do you have something I can see right now? Anything?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's in on my desk.
Okay.
Might have to
I thought I had it, but I don't.
I don't vote for anything unless I see it in writing.
Fine, you can vote no.
No, I know. I just wanted to see it. Otherwise, I'm on fine
Yeah.
with you. You got to have your computer. Absolutely.
Okay, any other comments from the board? Okay, on the motion as stated, for the 2 computers at $2,300 from Kodiak, could we do a roll call, please? Clerk Brown?
Sure. Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Clerk Kern, yes. Trustee Monet.
Okay, I can concede. I will vote yes.
Okay, I'll get you your copy.
Wait a minute, I hear horns blowing.
I'm sure you are. Hell has frozen over.
You relented after a year and 7 months?
Well, I trust Greg.
You're gonna trust some? Good Lord.
Well, since I send them stuff almost every week.
Yes, he does.
Get that in the
Yes,
newspaper.
yes, he does. Yes, I will say he's.
Mr.
and I'm-
Monet
and I'm-
approved
and
of
I'm
spending
grateful.
without seeing it in writing.
He sends me everything. Yes, he does.
Okay, that motion carries 4-0. Okay, last, fire department, volunteer fire department wage. I'm all on board. If you want to make a motion, I have a suggestion, but
Sure. But we'd have to get a second first, would we
Yep.
not? This is
Yep.
for Mason, Lloyd, and Kuchar.
right.
Okay, yeah, I'll make a motion to bring them up to minimum wage and then include the cost of living that we just passed, and it'll be effective July 1st.
So how much would that be?
I think you said 1414.
1414 is the final, yes. They're now at $12. They'd be going up to 1373 at, if they're just at minimum wage, and then with that extra few cents in there, it goes to 1414.
I can second that.
Okay?
As far as discussion, if there was any way to wait until you and Treasurer Hops and our new fire chief are discussing things, this is, to me, one of the main reasons we need a full-time fire chief. They can handle all this stuff and bring it to the board.
Well, I think this is out of their control. This is state of Michigan says this is the minimum wage.
Then how did we last this long without it?
Well, because we didn't know what the minimum wage was, or I didn't know, and I didn't know what wage they were getting. Once I finally got it, I saw that it's $12. I said, oops, we're in trouble. Well,
And it goes up again January 1 of 27.
I personally think all our firefighters are underpaid. We got to give them more money. We've already pursued a stipend for health or for vision and dental. I'm all in on all of that. We have a new fire chief now. Hopefully, we can get that stuff rolling to help recruiting.
So this would be a good start.
Certainly is.
We got 3 people want to be firemen, we need firemen, and it's not that
Yeah,
much
personally,
money. You could make more money working at McDonald's than that.
Yeah, I would like to pay them way more than this. But for the sake of where this motion is, sure.
And there's a stipend for vision and dental?
Not yet.
Oh, well, news to me. It's coming though. Maybe.
I was told a lot of things. Now I have hopes that we can move in a direction where we make it worth people's time to be on this fire department. There are ways to do it. Any other discussion from the board on the motion to improve or to raise their salary? Okay, hearing none. On the motion to raise the fire department wage,
I have one, sorry. I just thought of something. I am so sorry. I do have a question.
you're never sorry.
Yes, I am.
Just do it.
Is it my understanding, because I'm okay with minimum wage, it should be, that's law. Is it my understanding not one of the recruits passed their most recent test?
one of the recruits did not pass them.
One did not, the other 2 did?
I don't know about the other 2. I only know about the one that recently took that test.
This
Okay.
is why we have a new full-time fire chief, boys.
I'd give them a week to get all the answers.
Okay,
Okay,
sorry.
to bring them up, is that wage minimum wage? Is that what we're bringing them up to?
1373 is
Plus
minimum.
the cost
Yeah.
of living.
Plus the cost of living,
Right.
okay.
That's what it is.
So on the motion to bring them up to the cost of living, or to the minimum wage plus the cost of living, could we have a roll call, please, Clerk
Sure.
Pern?
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Clerk Pern, yes. Trustee Detmer,
Yes,
Trustee Monet.
No.
Well, that didn't last long. Okay. So- Okay, that is the end of the agenda. The only announcement I have is that the concert series begins Saturday. We have good bands. I hope you can find time to come out to one of the 8 shows this year. If you look at the posters, and by God, I forgot to put some out here, but they're kind of all over. 8 bands, 2 of them are classic rock, the rest are all slightly different genres, trying to suit everybody's taste. So that starts this Saturday. I have nothing else. We can move into public comment. So who would like to get up and say something tonight about the state of Lyon Township? Mr. Trout, how are you today?
Push the button.
Yes, you do, and if it's green, you should be good.
Yeah, it looks like it.
You don't have to get too close or it'll garble it up, so
How's
sitting
this?
right where you're at should be good.
First of all, unfortunately, Kevin's not here. I appreciate getting the invoice register and check register every month. That's really informative. I appreciate that. And hopefully somebody can take a note and pass this on to Kevin. I think 4 other very meaningful numbers would be very important every month. Maybe they could be in his monthly report. And that would be the budget amount for that month and the total expenditures for that month. And the same thing for year-to-date. The year-to-date budget amount, and he can pick the date. It doesn't have to be the date of this meeting, so to speak. But it would give the public a good indication on how we're doing with our finances, because obviously that's extremely important to most of us, because we do pay taxes. And unfortunately, most of us don't have any idea how fiscally responsible the board is or Kevin's reporting. So could somebody commit to
I'm gonna tell
mentioning
you,
it to Kevin?
I'm gonna suggest that your best bet is to email it to him. You know how things get lost in translation around here. This is where I support him 100% about being in writing. If you got something you want done, email him.
I can do that.
Well, I mean, I can suggest it, but I mean,
Just to reply, I don't want to dig up dirt, but last year, I spent months with FOIA requests asking for this information, and then got some information that truly couldn't be true because we were supposedly $500,000 over budget mid-year. Now, that's old news. I'm not interested in old news. I'm just asking if it could be done. Paul, I'll take your suggestion. I'll send Kevin an email. And on a monthly basis, we might know where we are fiscally.
Basically, Jason, you're talking about revenue and expenditure reports. That's what I'm hearing?
Well, I just want to...
Cash flow balance, revenue, fund balances, yeah.
Fund balances, where we are
Yeah.
according to our budget, and what we've actually spent. If you do accrual accounting here, which is common in businesses, I'd be glad to throw that third item in there, but just how we doing? I see where we spent money, but I don't, and I like this, I appreciate it, but I just don't, compared to what? Do we have another 6 million off page that we're,
there are times that tax money has not come in yet, but
yeah,
you
but
certainly make the request. That's.
I will.
Well, and that's traditionally been a FOIA
Thank you
for
for the reports.
generations.
I think, yeah, we may have already been here once.
Yeah.
And if we're going back, we'll see what happens. Thank you, sir. Didn't mean to cut you off if you had something else.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I like the report.
Okay. Anybody else got a comment from the public? Sam, you got your hand up and you didn't wait till last, so this has got to be good.
Here's the reason why I'm going to say this. Samuel Vincent Bedoyan Jr. On the May 19th special board meeting, my name is misspelled, just for your record. And she knows from the resorter that if they ever misspell my name, I will let them know. I don't care what else they write about me, but just so you know, it's misspelled.
You
Mine's
talking
always
in the
For
been-
the
minutes?
record.
I
Are you in
get
the
it.
minutes? You talking about the minutes?
Your report, May 19th special board meeting?
Yeah, that's
Second
minutes from the
page,
meeting.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right. That being said, with the St. Paul Michigan Central Park Boulevard, it behooves you to contact the road commission, because this is summertime, we see kids riding around their bikes, people walking. They should put some sort of a manhole cover over that situation there. So it might be wise to contact the road commission, recommend they do that.
That's,
That'll
I'll
protect,
see,
that'll especially work to protect the children from getting.
yeah, I'll see him tomorrow at a different
All right,
meeting.
thanks. I made my comments last week about volunteers and replacing a person from the Higgins Lake Utility Authority. And someday I'm not going to be around, but I want you to know something. Volunteers are still hard to come by. I can look at justifying if someone has to be removed for misconduct, et cetera, et cetera. I just feel, again, that the road you're taking by removing a 2-year, I think it's over 2 years, there was no misconduct, no insubordination, nothing of that, just a good, loyal volunteer doing her job. And I understand where Kevin's coming from as far as what he feels it needs to go in a different direction with the Higgins Lake Utility Authority. But I just don't see replacing someone that's been doing a very good job for 2 years. This is what I'm getting at. I don't want the public to think that someone's been on board for 2 years and they've been a volunteer and they've been doing a good job, and then all of a sudden something happens and you're going to replace them because you have that authority to do that. That's what I'm getting at. If Kevin should find out that some of the things he's heard from a few people from the camp, because they got the bigger mic, then maybe he'll look at things a little differently, and I hope he will. Enough said on that. One more thing. I hope still that you guys will still have something to say when it comes time to replace one girl already, you've done that, and the other person. They've been both loyal to you for 2 years. You better say something nice about it. I said that to you last week. I didn't hear nothing tonight. One other thing, a couple other things. We just remember your oath of office. I'm not going to cite it, but you should remember it. Yes, Timothy, when you talked about when you were out campaigning, platform, transparency, letting the public get involved in your decisions and so forth, you're absolutely 100% on that. Just some of you has lost focus on that. And you heard me say this in the past, I haven't said it lately. The health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of this township should be your main concern. Nothing else. You all have a responsibility, you all have your job descriptions and so forth. You should abide by that. And when you were talking about the health department, the tip of the mitt had a report, if some of you remember. And what did it say? It said, quote, Higgins Lake does not need a sewer. That was their report. Just wanted to comment because I know you brought up the Central Michigan and Steve and so forth. But that was documented. Enough said on that. Have a nice night.
Thank you, Sam.
I apologize for the misspelling, Sam. You know I know how to spell your
I
name.
want you to write it down 1,000 times.
I did it once. I'll put it in the copier.
Put it in the computer. Thank you.
I appreciate your concern about that. In the end, the tip of the mitt report was slated as those people don't have enough credentials at the end of their names to be considered capable of making decisions like this. And that became part of the, again, leaning on survey. The people don't want this. But you're correct. A little common sense applied, and they were certainly credentialed enough to make that
Well,
report.
they're very credible.
Anyway, any other comments from the public? Come on up, Phil. I'm sorry, are you trying to get out of here? Okay.
Phil Robinson, Lyon Township. Got a couple of observations, a couple of questions, and a couple of comments. Some of this is old business, so we're kind of going to be
All right, you got 5
rehashing
minutes.
some things that but they're old business, but they're unfinished business. Because in my view, we haven't been, responsive to some of the things that have come up in the past. I'm concerned about the fire EMS services, and I have been for some time. And I'm glad to see we seem to be making some progress toward, doing something about it in that direction. So that's a good thing. But the thing about the public's concern is that they don't know when they call 911 where somebody's coming from to help. And this has come up recently. We're getting calls that are being sent over to like Houghton Lake area. And so if somebody needs an ambulance, somebody's coming from Houghton Lake sometimes. I don't know if there's a good call log on this and you know how many external responses we've had to do because we haven't had sufficient resources, whether it's EMS or whatever. But I'm concerned about it for a number of reasons. One is the immediate impact on individuals who have health problems and who need prompt responses. And the other thing has to do with some more pragmatic things that have to do with costs. And the costs obviously are a problem, as was mentioned by one of the candidates, in terms of we have small townships. And so we're stretching resources to be able to do things that we can barely afford. And so it's really important that we make the right decisions. The other pragmatic aspects of it have to do with insurance costs. If you look at your insurance policy for your homeowners, you'll see that one of the things that they designate on there is your rate is partly based on how close you are to the nearest kinds of emergency fire services. And mine says 3 miles. Now, if everybody is going to be having to report that it's going to be 15 or 20 miles, that's going to make a difference with insurance companies because when they underwrite these policies, they look at a lot of things, and response time is important in terms of what your premiums end up becoming. So there's some pragmatic aspects to it like that. I'm not sure that we've fully appreciated it. Going to another subject here, this has to do with compliance. The compliance program here, we've had some discussions back and forth about it, and we've got Bruce, who's relatively new in the job. I'm not really sure how much authority Bruce has all by himself, or whether he has to get permission for everything he does. I mean, it's like any new job, there's a learning curve for it, and that's understandable. But I'm concerned that we don't seem to have a philosophical perspective on what compliance should look like. In other words, are we dealing with compliance on sort of a complaint basis? In other words, we respond to things when somebody complains about it. And I guess they have to complain about it in writing. There are some things that are very conspicuous that members of the board and members of the public drive by all the time that are obvious ordinance variants that are not permitted. But we don't seem that there's any real obligation to actually deal with those unless somebody complains about it. And one of the places that I brought up before has to do with the wood processing activities that seem to have accelerated. And especially all the free wood from all the down wood seems to be feeling that situation quite a bit. So the biggest, what I consider, and this goes back to what the attorney said in the meeting recently about blight, community blight. He made a distinction between somebody who's off in the woods, who's got a crappy looking piece of property, and somebody who's right on the main drag. This wood ferry land down here east of the post office is a hell of an eyesore, and it looks like a rodeo. And the only thing that I can expect next is they're going to be giving pony rides and selling cotton candy there because it looks very weird. I'd like to see a copy, and maybe it's available, maybe it's not, what they're allowed to do on that commercial property. Are they allowed to sell wood? Are they allowed to bring in and dump gigantic piles of wood? Are they able to run a splitter and do all this stuff like this? And why are they being allowed to do this if they're not allowed to do it? And why does somebody have to rat them out when everybody knows they're doing it? So if you know that they're doing it and they shouldn't be doing it, then I think everybody on the board has an obligation to deal with it instead of just blowing it past and ignoring it. Because we've got another activity across from the Baptist church down here that's starting to get a little larger over the last year or two. Maybe Freewood is kind of fueling that situation.
All right, try and wrap it
What we
up.
got left, Paul?
Yeah, well, you got nothing but wrap it up if you can.
Okay. So those are some of the concerns that I have, and so I'll leave it on this one last point. When the attorney was here recently, he brought up a lot of, I think, very interesting things. I almost get the sensation that at every board meeting, we have 6 members at the table there. there's the 5 of you, including Kevin, who's not here right now. But it all seems like there's an attorney who's kind of hovering over this, and the only way that we can understand what the attorney says is we have to go through his translator, which is Paul. Paul has the situation where he's the only one on the board who's allowed to formally communicate with the attorney, as far as I know. I could be wrong about that. Now, we have to take Paul's word for this, and every time he has a point that he wants to make, it's every meeting, it's like, well, I talked to the attorney and he says this, and he says that. How do we know what the attorney says? Why aren't the other people on the board able to participate and share those communications between the attorney and the supervisor? The supervisor is, I know it has some legal representative or legal person, but I think this is being entirely overinterpreted because that wasn't meant to disenfranchise the rest of the board in terms of having direct communications and direct contact with the attorney. I think it creates a very, very significant and unfortunate transparency issues when we have this existing. So I'll let it go at that.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thanks, Phil.
Who else would like to come up and say something tonight?
I'm going to be referencing an article that you wrote. So keep your ear out. Good luck.
Hello there, young lady.
Hello, my name is Leanne Wisnowski, and I am the Volunteer Parks and Recreation Committee Chair here at Lyon. I would like to address the board regarding its decision on the fire chief position. First, I would like to express my sadness for the residents of Lyon Township and my disappointment and disgust with this board. Your decision today raises serious concerns about whether qualifications, experience, and leadership ability were given proper weight during this selection process. The community deserves transparency. Again, we're hearing that word again. Regarding the criteria used to evaluate the candidates, what type of scoring sheets were used? I will be following up on these questions in an email. What standards were applied, and why was the only qualified officer certified candidate passed over? He who possesses the officer certifications. These questions should be answered not only for the residents, but to the candidates. Transparency again. The lack of leadership and professionalism displayed throughout this process is astounding. And I hope you're writing that down, Clerk Pern.
I'm writing down
I
what I
hope
think
you
is
are.
appropriate.
I know for the fact that experienced local fire chiefs volunteered to be part of this process to ensure Lyon Township receive the leadership it deserves, and they were turned away. That decision alone raises serious, serious questions. When qualified outside input is rejected and the most qualified candidate is passed over without clear explanation, it creates the appearance that the good old boys system is alive and well in Lyon Township. It leaves the residents wondering whether friendships or drinking buddies, Kevin's not here, or drinking buddies and politics carry more weight than qualifications, expertise, and what's best for the residents. The township continues to put its residents in danger by putting unqualified leaders in important positions. Unfortunately, this township will never attract qualified firefighters because it will not put qualified leaders in charge. Qualified firefighters will not work under qualified leaders. That's putting their certifications at risk, and it's a liability. I implore all the township residents to ask their insurance companies what would happen if something happened on a scene where an unqualified fire chief commanded the scene. Phil Robinson, who's here tonight, he's a resident of Lyon Township, and he wrote an article last year in the Up North Voice with concerns about the previous fire chief being unqualified for the position. He wrote all these things in this article. I forwarded this article to the board. The people speak, but this board doesn't listen. They don't. It's the good old boy system. That's why this decision is disappointing. I live in Lyon Township. I have 2 residents in Lyon Township. And honest to God, I am so ashamed that I voted for this board. Tonight, many residents are left questioning whether this board works for the people of Lyon Township or whether you work for yourselves. And I've heard it out of every single person on this board that, except for Tim, actually, he's the only one that said, I work for the people. The people of Lyon Township deserve answers. They deserve accountability, but mostly they deserve confidence that their leadership, their fire department has been chosen on merit, qualifications, and experience. That's not been provided. Confidence has been lost. It's really sad. I will be presenting something in writing to everyone about the answers that the community deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. Anybody else from the public have any comment they'd like to make? Going twice. Okay, we will. Just under the
I
wire.
thought you were gonna do it 3 times.
Well,
Bill
third
Cleaves,
time's fast.
Bill Cleaves, Lyon Township. Tonight, I was just dumbfounded, and 25 years of my blood, sweat, and tears down there just went down the drain.
Thanks, sir. Any other last minute comments? Okay, we'll close the public comment. I would entertain a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Meeting is adjourned at
9:12.
9:12. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for the comments.
That's all I can say is, oh my God.
Hey, turn your mics off.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
No, you're right, you're right. There's so much of the protocol. Protocol is important. Yeah, I should be restating that as. So I gotta go to a meeting in the morning, but I don't think, I'll be out of there by the time you guys get out.
Okay, you said you're going down the hill still.
Yeah.
My girlfriend went down there.
Yeah, we'll try.
I'm a little tired, just a little tired. You're what?
My parents live about 20 minutes.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
It's so nice for you to be back there. No, no, but you're telling. That's very nice.